Oh, are you looking for these?
The flyer?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, on your phone. That's good to test. Okay. Thank God for young people. They're going to drag me into the 21st century. Okay, so is that working? Is it live streaming? I can hear myself. It must be working. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. For all the people at home. So welcome, everyone who's here. I'll just give a couple more minutes as people find parking and figure out the labyrinth that is the 1400 building. I really appreciate you all coming out on a Thursday night in November. How many of you are seniors? A whole bunch? Anybody? Oh, can you open that so they don't have to go all the way around? Thank you. Thank you, thank you. They don't trust me to unlock those outside doors, so we gotta just work it out. So for those of you who are in the middle of application season, I really appreciate you coming out. Anybody not a senior, junior, kind of previewing? I know I have some that are interested, no problem. If they come in later, we can address it. It's a great time to be checking out your options, whether you absolutely know that you're coming to Fullerton College or just want to get some more information. We're here to answer those questions and live on Facebook streaming. Being drug into technology. So this is one of my favorite pictures of one of my favorite places on campus, which is the Fullerton College Library. We are a large campus of over 20,000 students. There's a lot of history and beautiful architecture. I encourage you to walk around if you've never been on campus during the day. It's pretty nice at night too. So this is me. I'm the coordinator of the honors program here. I'm also faculty. So in my other life, I teach political science on campus. I've been here for 20 years. I've been the coordinator of the honors program for 20. I've been here for 20. I've been coordinator of the honors program for 8. Just sometimes feels like 20. So one of our mottos here is that honors helps you achieve your goals, whatever those are. Most of our students come here wanting to transfer. Some students absolutely know where they're going to go and already have their gear. Oh, shoot. Paul's not wearing his USC gear. I feel like you have about 14 of those shirts and sweatshirts. Some people don't know where they're going to go, and that's okay too. So we kind of take students at all different places, wanting to go all different places. And our goal, my goal in particular, but really the whole campus's goal, is to get you where you want to go so that you can achieve your academic dreams. So I have open office hours in my regular life on Mondays and Wednesdays for my students who are in my political science classes. You're welcome to come to that if you're an honor student and the Tuesday morning doesn't work. But on Tuesday mornings, I have open office hours for any of the honor students. No matter what your major is, no matter what your plans are, you can come in and just stop by and see me any Tuesday morning, whether it's a problem with the honors program or something else. You just have questions, stop by. I think there's somebody coming in the back. Yeah, Nivien, can I set you on door duty? I appreciate that. So this is the building I'm in as a political science professor. This is the building I'm in for honors, and that's where our honors program is, in the 200 building. It's also right there our dining hall, our transfer center. Associated Students is up here. We're right down that hall and up there. So that's one of the offices that we have on campus for the honors program. Lots of programs to help students. We have really one of the things that the honors program offers our students is a community of scholars. And so there are lots of programs on campus that are great and wonderful. The goal of the honors program is to take students who want to transfer, who have academic goals for transfer, put them into classes together so that you can work together, you become friends, you study together, you hopefully transfer together, or you suddenly know people all over the country that have transferred to different places, and that's kind of nice too. So these are some of the benefits: smaller classes, dedicated faculty. Those things matter in your experience. To join, let's get that out of the way. We're looking for a 3.4 from high school or while you're in college. Usually, if a student is interested, in maybe starting anew, if high school wasn't your best academic achievement, we can start fresh and look at your GPA when you get to college. So this isn't an elite exclusionary thing. This is just, if you have a 3.4 in high school, we think you can succeed in the honors program here, which is what we want for you. Yeah.
Weighted or rated?
So which one is the one that gives you more options?
Well, the
Weighted. Yeah, that's the one that counts as the honors AP stuff? Yeah, that one. I want whichever number is better for you.
Okay.
That's weighted. We don't have weights here, just a standard. So we can also take a faculty referral. If you struggled freshman, sophomore year and found your academic grooves junior, senior year, we can take a faculty referral, we can take a counselor referral, we can take, if you know somebody who hasn't thought about the honors program, who finds their academic groove for college, we can take a professor or a college counselor's approval as well. For those of you who might know people who aren't in high school, who are thinking about college, we take returning students. If you've been out of high school for more than 5 years and you decide to come back to college, we've discovered you're really successful. And so come on into the honors program. So you want to go to school with your kids? Come on in. The Honors Transfer Council of California. So one of the things Fullerton College does is join this honors council of every community college in California that has an honors program. We meet once a month with other honors directors. So if you say, you know what, this all sounds great, but I don't want to go to Fullerton College. I've got some students who are at Fullerton High School and feel like coming across the street just makes it 13th grade. Great, go somewhere else. Go to Cypress, go to Mount Sac, go to Cerritos. I know directors all over. Most of the benefits are the same. Most of the incentives are the same. Clearly, we are the best. But you want to go somewhere else, we all offer the same things. And added benefit, because we all meet once a month, if you take 9 units of honors coursework here and 6 units somewhere else, you take classes at Cypress, you take classes at Mount Sac, you take classes in some other honors program, we'll count 6 of them. So lots of people go to multiple community colleges, so that's an offer as well. One of the benefits of that council to you as a student is that we enter into transfer agreements with private schools, with schools that might not be interested in talking just to Fullerton College, but suddenly when you have 54 community colleges in California that want to talk to Amherst College, they'll enter in a transfer agreement. So we have a bunch of them. And I'll show you that website in a little bit. Hi, come on in, welcome. I know. I apologize for that. We're working on better signage, I promise you.
Yeah, thank you.
So these are some of our transfer partners that I'm talking about. So you might not know that we have all these great private schools that offer financial benefits, that are looking for students. You might want to transfer to Chapman or to Whittier College. Incredible transfer agreements with them. Amherst is got a bunch of financial aid that's need-based. If you're super poor and super smart, they're going to give you a full ride. That's not bad to look at. So there are lots of options that you can just click on those and find out what they are. We'll talk more about UCI. They have a special agreement with us. We'll talk about UCLA. They have a special agreement with us. But these are through the Honors Council transfer agreements. So UCLA is a big one. Lots of people want to go to UCLA, and I love to send people to UCLA because if you are honors certified, which means you finish our program, 15 units of honors coursework. There's another program that you can do if you're STEM that we'll talk about later. But basically the idea is, in college land, usually a class is 1 unit, 3 units, 5 units. Those are the hours that you spend every week. And you want a total of about 124 of those to get a bachelor's degree. We ask that you do 60 of them here at the community college, and then you transfer. So about half of your units are here. Of those 60, so if we said 15 units is full-time, so 5 3-unit classes, or some combination thereof. If you took 5 3-unit classes, that would be a full-time load. 15 in the fall, 15 in the spring, that's 30 units a year. 2 years, that's 60 units. If you do some other variation of that, those numbers change. Of those 60 units total you need to transfer, a quarter of them would be honors units. So it's not that every single class that you're taking is honors. It's not that every single class is going to be in the honors program. You can take more if you want. We'd love you to take 18 or 21 or however many units you want, but it's not that you're taking 5 honors courses every single semester. So of those 15, if you finish the program, that means you're honors certified. So you have to give us the 15 units and an overall GPA of 3.4. So if you do that, you're honors certified. When you transfer to UCLA, you have some added benefits. The biggest benefit at UCLA is that they let you apply twice. So they have some pretty impacted programs. Biology is super impacted at UCLA, even though by California law, the CSUs and the UCs allow a regimented number of students to be transfer students. So you've got reserved spots at the CSUs and the UCs. That doesn't mean that you have a reserved spot in the biology major or the psychology major. So what the benefit of being honors certified is, go ahead and try for that really super impacted program with your first application, and then UCLA says, if you don't get into that, you get a second try. And so you could be biochemistry, which has a much higher acceptance rate. You could be something related to the field, and we'll talk about that later. But basically, you get 2 chances to apply to the UC system, and that really helps, which is why 84% acceptance rate to UCLA among our honor certified students. But look at this. Everybody from Fullerton College who applied to UCLA, 17% acceptance rate. So a big difference if you're honor certified. And for those of you who are applying as seniors in high school, it's super awful competitive to get into the CSUs and UCs these days. So if you apply and you don't get in, and you say, I really, really, really want to go to UCLA, I was accepted to all these other programs, remember, come here. You can transfer and get into your first choice. Okay. Special admits, veterans, and returning, because you are my best ambassadors to recruit other people who didn't come here tonight and who might be your aunts and uncles and friends and neighbors who say, I really want to go to community college. Tell them to come here and join the honors program. I've got a 13-year-old in the program and I have a 70-year-old in the program. Great for folks who might feel uncomfortable being in a class of 18-year-olds. Come to the honors program. So, tell people. All right, so some of our alumni, some of our success stories, because one of the biggest questions on everybody's mind is, I don't want to go to the community college, I'll get stuck there. Nobody ever transfers. Okay. Let me tell you some people who did. Alan Brantley is a Jack Kent Cook Scholar, which is kind of a secret about community college. You come here for 2 years, and then you apply for scholarships. You apply for awards. There are transfer scholarships. There are Fullerton College scholarships. Besides the beautiful buildings that I absolutely love, there's also a really big advantage to coming to a school that's as old as Fullerton College. We are the oldest community college in the state of California. We were established in 1913. means we're 106 years old, which means there's a whole bunch of people that died decades ago who left money and established scholarships. And so we have lots of scholarships. Our foundation gives out about 250,000 scholarships a year. Just the social science division gives out about $14,000. So those folks who go straight to the 4-year, they just go from sophomore year to junior year. We throw you a party, a graduation, and we give you money on your way out the door. It's kind of nice to break it up, just so. So the Jack Kent Cooke is a really prestigious award, mainly for people who are transferring to private schools, and the reason for that is, those of you sports fans might know Jack Kent Cooke made a whole bunch of money in sports. He established a transfer scholarship for community college students who are transferring, and they offer $40,000 a year, or I should say, up to $40,000 a year. So it's what's called a backfill scholarship, which means that if you get a full ride to Cal State Fullerton, you're not going to need any Jack Kent Cooke money. So they try to look for people who are going to super expensive schools who, even when they get financial aid, there's still a big gap. So Stanford's a really good place to spend $40,000, because even when you get money, you're still going to have some need for $38,500. I don't know what the number is. But so he came here. He's at Stanford right now. Laurel Fuentes was another scholarship winner who walked out the door with tens of thousands of dollars, and she's now, she went to Stanford. She is at Harvard Dental School, right across the quad from Bennett Cho, who is at Harvard Medical School. There's not a lot of transfers into Harvard, but we do have a lot of students who go there for grad school. So there's a lot of success stories. Corey Lamb, you're going to hear from him later, or at least read from him later, but he was last year's Jack Kent Cooke Scholar, and so he's at Stanford with a full ride. Also, we send a ton of people. Fullerton College is the #1 transfer to the CSUs. So wherever it is that you're thinking about going, we have a path that can get you there. Susie Morales and Jason Barker both graduated from Berkeley. Susie Morales came here after being told by a counselor at 15 years old that you are not college material. And she was rejected to every single school she applied to senior year. She came here, spent the first year depressed, and then found that the honors program was the answer. She got accepted to every single UC she applied to, every single CSU she applied to, and she sent those acceptance back to that counselor and said, you were wrong. So there's a path for lots of different folks. Jason actually started here 10 years before he transferred, and as he said, my GPA would have to be generously rounded up to meet a 1.0. He went to the welding program, went into career for a while, came back 8 years later, had a 4.0, and transferred as a physics major to Berkeley. So however long that path takes, Fullerton College will be here. So here's what the honors program really does. What we try to do is design honors classes that have high impact learning. Smaller classes. So I teach American government as an honors class. I got 25 students in a class. We do a lot of discussion. We do a lot of research. We do a lot of diving deeper into the material. If you have ever experienced an AP class that makes it seem like it's the hardest class in the world and takes pleasure in having the most homework, that's not our goal. Our goal is to dive deeper into the material so that you get a better understanding, not loading it on. We're not interested in being the hardest in the world. We're interested in your learning. And so high impact learning activities where you have discussions, where you can really investigate, where you can ask the big questions, where you can really get to know your faculty and really get to know the cohort and the other students who are in your class. That's our goal. We're hoping to prepare you for transfer, so there's research projects, there's papers, getting to know the librarians to help learn how to use an academic database. That's important if you're going to transfer to UCLA that has 9 libraries on campus. It's helpful if you've walked into one before you transfer there and are expected to do research. So we try to kind of walk you through that. Deeper discovery, project-based learning, conference applications. One of the things we try to do is get you to research conferences. One of the advantages of being a big fish in a smaller pond, of only having freshmen and sophomore here, is that all of the leadership opportunities are for freshmen and sophomores. You can be AS president next year. You can be the leader of a club, and if you don't see a club you like, start one. There's a lot of opportunities that you have here. So that American government class that I was talking about, 25 students here, that same class that's taught at UC Santa Barbara for a freshman is 1,200 people in a class. The first 800 get in the lecture hall. The next 400, I suppose those who rise early or sleep in or grab a Starbucks, the last 400 are in the gym with a satellite to their classroom. I'm sorry, I'm doing a better job. My students are learning more about American government. So understand that the UCs use adjunct labor, use teaching assistants and grad assistants to teach a lot of their very large lecture halls for freshman and sophomore introductory classes. You're going to have full-time professors here. Our adjuncts are some of the best in the nation. Our full-time teachers are dedicated to teaching. We don't have research expectations. We're not forced to publish. We're here for the students. And so you really get the best of both worlds when you start here and transfer to one of those larger institutions where those professors are teaching juniors and seniors. They're teaching grad students. They're not necessarily in those introductory classes. So you really do get a better understanding of that. Building community. One thing that I really emphasize as the coordinator of the honors program is the holistic atmosphere. I work really closely with other programs to make sure honors is not everything that Fullerton College has to offer you. We have study abroad options, and I gotta tell you, our study abroad is the best. Instead of, if you're at the university where, first of all, you have to pay their tuition before you leave, our tuition is relatively cheap, $46 a unit. If you're a full-time student coming out of high school, we have the Promise, where you can get free tuition, which is a pretty nice deal. So study abroad, students make a deal with your parents, save them money by coming here and go to France, or Japan, or South Africa, or wherever it is we're going, because we have study abroad options that are amazing, rather than at the university. And you might want to do this later when you transfer. One individual student going to another country of their choice and studying at that university's school. We give you kind of an introduction to study abroad. You take 20 students as one faculty member from Fullerton College or our partner school, Cyprus, one faculty member in the intersession, or that's the winter January term, or during summer with 20 students from Fullerton and Cyprus, and we travel to South Africa, to Brazil, to Japan. In the fall and spring, it's a little bit bigger. We take 2 professors and 40 students from Cyprus and Fullerton, and that's kind of nice, especially if you've never traveled abroad. It's kind of nice to go with a little tiny bubble of Orange County with you, and you get faculty who are teaching their classes. And so one of the reasons I want you to plan ahead is because if you know you're going to go in your 4th semester and that study abroad to London is taught by, let me make something up, a history professor and an English professor, then you don't want to take a lot of history and English classes before, because you're going to take them in London with those professors. So we do want you to kind of plan ahead and talk to a counselor. Now, if it turns out you don't go to London, great, take those history classes and English classes here. But better, take them in London. So because you can get a 90-day visa for a student visa, let's say spring. So January, February, March, the first couple of weeks of the semester, you're here in a class with those professors, you're getting to know the other students, and then for 90 days, March to May, you go to London and you take our classes in English there. And you can either stay in a dorm situation, or you can stay in a homestay. And if you go to Italy, stay in somebody's house. Good Lord. They'll pack you lunch, which will feed the entire class. It's nice. But one of the nice things about doing that is that you don't have to worry about, are the classes going to transfer? You don't have to worry about, I think I know Japanese, but I'm not sure I can take biology in Japanese. So you know you're getting those classes in English. We set it up because we know that the experience is part of the education. So you're taking classes Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, and then you have a 3-day weekend every week. You get a Metro Rail pass, you get a Euro Rail pass, you get on wherever you're gonna go, you travel, you make friends, you get some independence, and you have the time of your life. I've never had a student do study abroad who regretted it. We have financial aid available. We have the promise available. You have planning available. So think about those things when you're thinking about what you want your college experience to be like, what you want to do. But it's also just nice to have other people who are homesick. It's nice to have other people who, sit around London going, why don't they have ice? And why don't they have ranch dressing? And other people that miss the same things without being the ugly American ordering ranch dressing or ice where they're not going to have it. So there's some advantages to study abroad. Join student clubs, get involved, work on campus. If you have to get a job, work on campus, park once, work here. There's lots of jobs on campus that are available. There's tutoring available. If you're a really great student and you want to tutor others, we have jobs available. If you're struggling with classes, go to the tutoring center. We just want you to be as immersed as possible. My biggest fear for students at the community college, because we are a commuter campus, a lot of people come here. I call them PCP students. I don't want any of you to be PCP students. Park, class, park. They go from the parking lot to the classroom to the parking lot. They never go to anything on campus. We've got music, we've got sports, we've got lectures, we've got cultural events. We've got, in this room on Saturday morning, a presidential town hall with Tom Steyer. Great, awesome, good, come, see him. We've got Holocaust survivors, we've got cultural events, we've got Kindercaminata where 1,200 kindergartners come to campus and find out about college. If you want to work with kids, we've got a lab center. Get involved. College is what you make of it. And so I really encourage our students who are in the honors program to be fully immersed. Most of the student leaders in clubs are honor students. Not necessarily because honor students join those, but because I sit there and say, what club are you going to be in? And I push you a little because you should take advantage of all we have to offer. College is what you make it. And so I'm part of the package of forcing you out of that. Research conferences. So one of the things we want you to do with those high impact learning is to do research papers in classes, to investigate. Then take those research projects and apply to a conference. We have a bunch of them. And one of the nice things is that if you're at UCLA as a freshman or sophomore, you're not going to be invited to a research conference. Those are for their grad students. Those are for their upper division students. We don't have any of those, so it's all for you. We have an Honors Transfer Council conference every year in spring. It's hosted at UCI. UCI loves to get a look at the 350 students who come and present there, and they try to say, come here to UCI. I know you're going to get into UCLA, but we want you more. And that's something to consider. You may absolutely know and already have your college acquired. Be open. Maybe you want to go somewhere else. So the National Collegiate Honors Council, I just got back from that in New Orleans. That was amazing. A bunch of students from all over the country where they're presenting research. If you're a math major or an engineering major, you may be doing research in your discipline. UCI is there. Western Regional Honors Council, we take students to occasionally. Bay Area Honors Consortium, or symposium, whatever it is. They trade off. Last year it was at Stanford. This year it'll be at Berkeley. We fly students up and they present their research. And it's not some scary, awful thing of, what are you talking about? I've never done research before. We have you do the research in our classes. We then take that and teach you how to do an abstract. And then we teach you how to apply. We walk you through the entire process. So if that seems like a really scary thing, it's not. We're going to go step by step. So this is our UCI conferences. We're all the happy people that were there. That's Erin. She's at Berkeley right now. And she was accepted to a research conference her very first semester at Berkeley because she had already done the work here and it had been accepted, so she had an abstract. So she is the only transfer student at Berkeley that's accepted to this computer science automation research that she had done of somehow, I don't know what it was, but I enjoyed the presentation that I didn't understand. So she also got accepted to Stanford, Kara Regan, Stephen Benken, who all presented at Stanford University, their research when we went there. So that's an exciting benefit of coming here. We have honor societies as well, and sometimes we use all this honors word and there's a difference. So there's the honors program, which I've been talking about, which are taking classes and being part of this. We also have honor societies, which are not the same as the honors program, but most of our honor students also qualify to be in the honor societies. PTK is one of them. AGS is another. There are some students who are in those honor societies that don't belong to my honors program. I don't know why, but they should be. It's not necessarily one and the same, but there's a whole lot of overlap. So I encourage you to join. What are honor societies? They're basically student clubs based on academic achievement. They're social. You're gonna meet people, you're gonna have meetings, you're gonna do community service, you're gonna have fun. They do beach cleanup, they do events on campus. You can be president of the club, you could be secretary or treasurer of the club, you could be, I don't know what else you can do, but there's lots of roles that look really nice for leadership and give you experience working with other student leaders on campus. So PTK, AGS, all of this, by the way, on our website. Honors and stuff, I'm like, you don't have to take notes, I'm not gonna quiz you. We got it all on the website. So study abroad, if you're looking and saying, that sounded good, where do I wanna go and when do I wanna go? There you go. Go to Argentina, go to Paris, go to Rome. We ask that you have 12 units of college before you apply to go and study abroad. If you wanna go in the winter of your freshman year, there's a way to do that. Even though you haven't finished the units when you apply, go ahead and apply. They're looking for people, and what we do is come to me and I'll write you a letter of recommendation for the program based on being in the honors program. We have lots of students who have been accepted to that winter program, even though technically they haven't finished, but we can have them take a look. So that's all on study abroad, Untitled.fullcoll.edu if you're interested. Again, you don't have to be in the honors program to do study abroad, but we have a relationship with study abroad so that any course that we offer, English 100, English 103, History of the United States, Political Science, if it's offered during a study abroad program, we have them offer the honors version and you can take that abroad. Talk about high impact learning. If you are taking an art class in Italy, or in Paris, where you're going to the Louvre for your homework, yeah, that's honors. So we're gonna give you credit. So we have a relationship with them. STEM programs, any STEM majors? Science, technology, engineering, math? All right. For those live streaming this, I'll talk a little bit about the STEM program. We work with the STEM program really closely. About 40–45% of the students in the honors program are majoring in one of those, and so we have a really good relationship with the honors counselor and the program. We have great career and transfer programs to try to figure out what it is you want to do in that kind of wide world of STEM. And so they take field trips, JPL and the forensics, they took a field trip to Google. We have lots of speakers who come here, so great program. I also really encourage internships. Whether it's a local internship, whether it's job shadowing of talking to people. We have a great career center on campus that I really encourage students to go check out. The joke in my family was every part-time job that I had was another potential career that I crossed off my list. No, I won't be working in restaurants. No, I won't be working in public service. No, I won't be doing manual labor. So getting job experience is really good to kind of figuring out what it is you want to do with your life. And then if you know that, if you know the destination, it makes the world of college a whole lot easier because there's relevance, what you're learning in the classroom, you can see some kind of actual end game of why this is going to matter. And you can start to talk to people who have those jobs and get some advice about what the best thing to do is in transferring. I think it's really great to talk to professors about what you should do, but I also think it's more important to talk to people who have the jobs you want. So if you're in journalism and you think, oh, I want to go to UCLA, maybe all the folks in journalism are going to tell you you should go to Cal State because they have more hands-on training. And you should not be doing theory at the UC You should be doing hands-on, working at the student newspaper and getting a job in local media. That might not be what your professor's going to tell you. So doing those internships is really great. It gives you some practical work experience. You might come back and say, oh, I don't want to do that. Great. That's also really valuable. So we've had students do internships at the White House. We have lots of STEM teams that apply to NASA. They've flown in the Vomit Comet, which I guess is cool, and done their experiments. One of the teams was actually accepted to give a presentation on climate change to the United Nations. Some really cool opportunities for students at community college. And one of the advantages to being at a community college is a lot of people don't apply for these. And so the student who was accepted to the White House internship that year, 2011, was the only community college student who applied. So it really increased her odds of getting in because she was different. Didn't hurt that one of our Fullerton College alums was working in the White House at the time and said, you know what, nobody from community college is applying. And I'm like, oh, that's going to change. What's the deadline? I'm sending you people. That helps when you're the only community college student to apply. When you're the only community college team to apply to the United Nations, that sets you apart. So there's some big advantages coming here. So what does it mean to be finished? That honors certified status that we're looking for. If you're not a STEM major, it's 15 units. Again, that's a quarter of your total units. If 60 is the goal, 15 of them are honors coursework. Again, if you go to Cyprus and take a class, that still counts. We just do 9 here, 6 somewhere else because that's a majority, so we claim you. If you go doing 9 at Mount Sac, they get to claim you. And you can count the 6 you do here. That's fine. And then an overall GPA, all of your coursework, of a 3.4 or higher. And there's some benefits to higher, depending on where you want to go. UCI, for instance, if you have a 3.7, there's some extra benefits. Not that you won't transfer, not that you won't be accepted with lower than a 3.7, but there's some bonus points if you get 3.7 or higher. If you are a STEM student, there's a lot of lab work that you have to take. And sometimes it's discouraging because it's tough to get everything in. And so we are more flexible with our STEM students that have lots of sequential requirements. You have to take this class before you take this class and this class and this class. So we go, okay, it might be hard to fit everything else in. And so we say 9 units of honors coursework, and we'll give you credit for 6 of those other STEM courses that you do, physics or trigonometry or other classes. We just want you to do that honors coursework for us. And so you're doing a presentation, you're doing an internship, you're doing job shadowing, you're doing some of those other high impact learning to get credit to be honors certified as a STEM major. Any questions about that? Don't worry about it. If, we'll walk you through the whole process, but sometimes that's a little strange. We have honors counselors. And so one of the nice things about the honors program is that we want you to meet with the same counselors over and over and over. Every semester, we want you to meet with a counselor to work on what's called an education plan or an ed plan, which is basically here's what you're going to do so that you meet all the requirements on time so that you are ready to transfer, ready to get the degree, ready to get an AA, whatever it is that your goal is, a certificate. STEM counselor is John Michael Hadabal, and so we want you to meet. If you're in a different program, if you're in athletics, for instance, they make you meet with an athletics counselor. That's great. You don't have to meet with 2 different counselors. We just want you to be meeting with a counselor. The advantage for that is because in case your goals change. A lot of times we have students who come in and say, I don't know where I want to go and I don't know what I want to major in. Okay, we'll give you kind of a general ed plan. It's called IGETSI. I don't remember what that stands for, but it's basically hey, take these classes and you can go to the CSU or the UC or a private school. And so, okay, that's where we start. At some point before you transfer, you got to narrow things down. You got to pick a major. You got to pick a school you want to go to. Okay, so now come back to the counselor and say, all right, I feel like political science science is awesome and I want to be a political science major. Good, okay. Still don't know where I want to go. Okay, we're going to do an ed plan so that you can be political science. There are certain classes that you have to take. We got to get international relations. We got to get a contemporary issues class. We got to get comparative government. Okay, good. Now you've done all of that, you can transfer anywhere you want. Third semester, come in, meet with your counselor and say, I absolutely positively want to go to USC. Great. Let's look at what those requirements are and make sure that you have those so that you're ready to transfer. Let's look at what the acceptance rate is. Let's look, you have a 2.0. I don't think that you're going to be able to go to that school with that major. Let's look at your other choices. That's why we want you to check in. If you just say, I don't know where I want to go and I don't know what I want to do, that's not going to narrow things down so you can get exactly where you want. So we're going to give you the most general to the most direct whenever you're ready for that. We want you. We want students to come here, and so talk to us, ask us questions. I love to have alumni, and I'm going to have our two student assistants who are here, Rebeca Oropeza and Paul Schulz, who can answer any questions from the student side of things. But I asked some of our alumni because I go to high schools all the time and sell the program, and students are skeptical, and all right, take their word for it. I can't bring my little merry band of alumni around, but this is the advice. I asked them, I said, hey, what advice would you give to a high school student who's thinking about coming here? And they had a lot to say. And so I've given you some of the alumni. I didn't put all 50 responses up, but they are happy to talk to you anytime. And particularly if you know exactly where you want to go. One of the great things, and if you come to Fullerton College, you will tire of hearing our motto, I promise you. Once a Hornet, always a Hornet. And our alumni really believe that. And so if you want to go to Columbia, Kimberly and Kevin are going to have coffee with you when you go to New York. They're going to say, come meet, we're going to take a Hornet on a tour. You want to go to Berkeley, there are 13 people who will let you sleep on their couch. I'll introduce you first. You can stay in a hotel if you'd rather. If you want to go to UCLA, you can meet with our alumni who are there. If you want to go to Cal State Fullerton, you can't walk 5 feet without hitting a Hornet over at Cal State Fullerton or UCI. All of our students want to help the next generation of students. And so make sure that you let me know, your faculty know, in your major know, because one of the things you don't want to do is buy the brand name of a college. You want to find the best fit. And listen, I want you to get accepted to UCLA because I want that high number. You don't have to go there. Go to the school that's best for you. And that's what this exploration is about. And so one of the things you're going to see time and time again is, oh my God, get off the rat race of the where am I going to go when I have to be in the best school and the social status of that. I think one of the students even said, she had so much to say I had to put it on 2 slides. I think one of the students even says on a later slide, you are not going to care about what your high school friends think 15 minutes after graduation is over. Find the path that's best for you. And I know it's hard to break out of that when you're surrounded by that transfer fever or that application fever and all of that, but this is what our alumni have to say. So, I just had lunch with Beverly right now. She's looking for a job. Jason Barker, who I showed you earlier, had some really great advice about your high school counselors, your high school principal wants those high numbers. They want you to go. And it's interesting how pervasive it is. There was a school in Santa Ana that opened up for foster youth who are going to go to a high school. And I said, that's great. I want to have a partnership with you. And he said, we want all of our students to get accepted to a 4-year school. And I said, that's a really great goal. That might not be the best place for them to start. You shouldn't put that status as a goal for the students to feel like they're letting you down if they choose a community college. And I find this as a parent now. My daughter just started high school, and I kept telling the junior high principal, listen, it's really great that you have aspirations for these kids to go to college. Awesome. I don't know if they should be walking from class to class on Harvard Boulevard and taking a lap at Stanford Avenue. Where's Fullerton College? Where's the technical program? Where's my next plumber? why are we setting up these standards that my first year of talking to students who come here is trying to convince them that it was okay to come here?
Yeah.
I have students who say, I let down my school. I let down my principal because I didn't get into a four-year school. You have to make the decision that's right for you. Sometime, somehow, we went from only these special students should go to college. Well, that's not a good message. We shouldn't be elitist in telling kids that they're not college material, but we have perverted that message to everyone must go to college. That's not good either. So I really want you to encourage you to, here's Elise, she's at Berkeley. If anyone tells you the community college is the wrong decision, ignore them. She was in my office almost every Tuesday morning for the first semester, feeling like she'd let down her family. I brought shame on my family. They're pretty happy with their graduation from Berkeley. So understand that you have to make the choice for yourself. And I love this. College is a different journey for everyone. And the idea that there's one school that's best for everybody is absurd. And so I really hope that you'll have conversations with your family, that you'll have conversations with your friends about, what am I looking for in college? What do I want? And if your answer is, I want Saturday morning at that football game in the student section, then go to a school that has that so you can experience that. But if your idea is that you want to get the best job possible, that might not be the same answer. A lot of people don't want to go to a school with a quarter system. They want to go to a semester. That matters. Do you want a small school? Do you want a big school? What do you want? Those are questions we don't ask a lot of people to consider. And so this process, community college, kind of gives you a chance to find out. Because I know I was not the same person at 20 that I was at 18. And the school that was right for me right out of high school was not the right school for me 2 years later. So think about that as another thing to consider. Sana knew she was going to go to USC, but she wanted to come to the community college first and save $90,000. Not a bad idea. And one of the other benefits that a lot of people don't think about when they're coming to the community college is you often will transfer with a higher GPA than if you went straight to the four-year school. For instance, the economics program at Berkeley is on a curve. And so Chris Lim, who was a 4.0 student here, transferred up in his first semester. I said, how are things going? And he said, really rough. I got a C in an econ class. I said, Chris, what's happening? Are you having a bad transition? Is it tough to, are you homesick? And he said, oh no, I have a 94%. I said, wait, I thought you said you had a C. He said, I do. 97% is the cutoff for an A. 95% is the cutoff for a B, because we're all 4.0 students. Oh, now that's not every program at Berkeley. That's just super competitive programs. But he has a huge advantage going in with a 4.0 as a transfer student, because the students that started out as a freshman don't have a 4.0 by the time they get to junior year. So that's another advantage that I didn't even think about when I was going to school. Corey, our Stanford student, that's him getting, he looks a little bit in shock if you can see his face. He just found out he won a scholarship for $40,000 a year and changed his life. And one of the things to recognize is that he's got a whole classroom full of people who are supporting him. We could have filled that classroom with 150 other faculty members and administrators who all know and helped Corey along his way. That's something that you really leave Fullerton College with if you invest. If you come here and really immerse yourself in the college experience, you will miss us if we've done our job right. And so he's credits Fullerton College Honors Program is the reason he's there. And just had to throw in the statistic, the transfer students have higher graduation rates, they have higher GPA, and they have higher placement in jobs. Kimberly, right now, she came here, she transferred to Cal State Fullerton, and is now doing graduate work at Columbia with a full ride. And she's first generation student, and even though she had transferred to Cal State Fullerton and was no longer a Hornet, when she came back to us and said, listen, I got a full ride to Columbia, but I can't afford the plane ticket there. we had a fundraiser and gave her a plane ticket so that she's there. And then we said, you know what, it was really cold in New York. Do you have a coat? And she said, yeah, I'm an Anaheim girl. I do not have a coat. And we said, we're going to find you a coat. And we just sent a whole care package of winter wear and some closed-toed shoes, because flip-flops and snow are not a good combination. So really and truly, some big, big, big advantages. So questions, and then I'm going to set up a couple of things over here to show you some websites. Any questions? I've talked for a really long time. Oh, let's see if I can bring this back. Maybe I'm not going to show you websites. Let's see if our tech god can do this. Questions for me? Questions for our students? Rebecca, anything you want to add?
No, you definitely covered it. I think.
Come on up and stand.
So hi.
Tell our Facebook folks who you are. Come on over.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's watching, but okay.
So definitely, I think once you get to Fullerton College, I felt like I was doing something wrong, and I didn't, and everyone was telling me, go, you have to transfer to a four-year university. And when I got here, I just felt like I was in the right place for me, and I'm a nutrition major, and I just love all the faculty here. I feel like I've been supported here. My mom used to work here, so I've always come to this school whenever she had presentations, and I just felt right back at home. I always see people that knew my mom, and I feel like I have a family here. So, but that's just my case, but I feel like when you come here, you meet the faculty. Come to your faculty's office hours. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Big secret, we usually sit alone.
Yeah. So
Nobody
I
comes.
love going there, asking questions. I try to go to my, I have chemistry, and I have math, and I have sociology. I always try to come to their office hours and ask them questions. I became an AS senator this year, and next year I want to be vice president of Student Senate. And
That's Associated Students?
Yeah, and I thought I would never do something
Yeah.
like that, and I feel like it's possible for me to do that as well. And I feel supported in here, and I feel so just, I knew once I got here for the first semester, and even now I feel that I can do it. And I have a long ways to go because I have so much classes to do, but I feel like I can do it, and as long as I keep pushing, I believe you guys can do too.
Yeah. And Associated Students, I didn't talk much about our student government, but for those of you who kind of coming from the high school mold, well, student government doesn't have a lot of power. Our shared governance model means that students have a say. We have students on our hiring committees. We have students that are making decisions for curriculum. They are on our budget committee. They, if you look at some of the things around campus, they're because students ask for them. We have fancy water bottle filling stations that are because of the students. We have if you see the Fullerton College students ride free on the bus, that's honor students in student government that said, hey, Santa Ana has that, how come we don't? And I said, we're going to, and now we do. So the students themselves passed a fee increase that they pay a couple bucks a semester, and we worked out a partnership with the Orange County Transportation Administration so that all of our students with a student ID ride free, which is not a bad marketing tool to get a whole bunch of people who are riding the bus to their jobs to come to Fullerton College, because we have some bus-sized signs reminding people that we're here. So what else did students do? They're working on a community garden, sustainability plan, a whole bunch of things that are here because of students. Yeah, student.
I have a question. So, I'm a little late, so I don't know if you touched on this already. You had a slide that said like sports programs and theater. So can you be in the honors program and still like audition?
We want you to be in everything. Yes. Yes. In fact, the students help me put out a weekly newsletter every Monday that basically is This Week in Honors, and it's kind of everything that's going on campus to keep everybody on track, to say there's a theater production you should go to, there's a transfer workshop, and we have an entire office to help you transfer. The huge college admission scandal where college consultants were getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars, we offer all that for free. None of the illegal part, just the helping you transfer and legitimately getting in. That there are consultants that charge parents thousands of dollars for what we offer for free. We have workshops of how to transfer to the CSU. We have workshops for how to apply for scholarships. We have transfer to do, what do you do after you get in? We have transfer week is coming up. It's the push for the deadline for the CSUs and the UCs, November 30th. So we have transfer nights where English faculty who have, no hyperbole, probably reviewed 20,000 personal insight statements for UC over the last 2 decades, sit at the transfer center and review statements and say, here's what I think you should do, here's some advice, I've read thousands of these. That's really helpful. Actually, once asked Miguel Powers, who's one of our honors professor, who, by the way, take honors Shakespeare, because he dresses up like Shakespeare. Awesome. But he's one of my favorite people on campus. And I asked him, I said, like, do they pay you? Like, what are you doing? Like, just hanging out in the transfer center all night? And he's like, pay? Oh, they have coffee. I was like, oh, okay, all right, some coffee and some muffins, and you're just gonna give away free advice. And he's like, yeah, it's to help the students, of course. We all do. There's 5 English professors sitting there on a Wednesday night. So we are really a community that wants to help you succeed. Other questions? Yeah.
I came in late, but
Sure.
exactly how do you become an honor student?
So you just go to our website, honors.fullcoll.edu, and you push joining honors and fill out our application.
Did you have to fill out FAFSA?
No. I think, you know what, eventually before you come here, you have to fill out FAFSA to get the promise.
Okay, that's what it was.
So you have to fill out the FAFSA to get the promise, the free tuition if you're a full-time student from the high school. That's the new requirement. To join the honors program, nope, we don't care. To join the honors program, you can fill out an application right now. Just click that you're currently a high school student, and we'll put you on hold. We'll say, absolutely, you're gonna come in, but we're not gonna flood your inbox with everything that's going on in the honors program right now, because you gotta finish up high school first. But yeah, we absolutely can walk you through that whole process and answer any questions you have and come talk to us. Yeah.
Is there a deadline for applying for the program, and is there a cap on the number of students that are allowed into the program?
Good questions. So the first question is no, there's no deadline, but the follow-up to that is do it now. Because what we want to do is get you into the program. What we want to do is make sure that you're not missing any steps. You have to apply to the college and apply to us. It's a simple Google Doc form to apply to us. We just need your contact information. The answer about CAP is once classes are full, I beat the bushes and offer new sections. So no, and because there's no cap, there's no we're all full, what I try to do if you're having trouble getting classes is add more sections. And because not everybody in the program is taking 15 units of coursework every semester, it usually works out. When I start to see classes filling up really fast, like I did back in 2011, when, there was a recession and we were cutting classes and it was hard to get everything, I had to beg and bake some cookies to get faculty to offer more sections and beg our VPI to let me offer more. Right now, we have classes that aren't full. So if you're still hearing the rumor mill that you can't get through the community college, that is old information. We have empty classes. We are taking you in. You were born in a really good year when birth rates went down. 18 years after Y2K and 9/11, turns out fewer people had kids, so good you. We are looking for college students all over the country, by the way, so transferring is also. Declining enrollments mean that it's easy to get through. Now, you might, if you're a STEM major, still be told, hey, you might want to stick around for a 3rd year because you can take organic chemistry here with lots of tutoring and lots of help and all of these programs to help you succeed. But you can absolutely transfer in after 4 semesters in most of our programs. It's not a problem of getting the classes. It's the problem of wanting to take as many as possible here before you transfer. So that's just the difference. But no, there's no cap. We want you to apply. This is super early.
The only reason we even open it is because you guys are all obsessed with applying to other colleges, so we're like, sure, we'll open it now. You don't need to apply to us until spring. That's fine. And if you're at one of those high schools that has dual enrollment, that has early admission process, that they're going to walk you through the whole program, which is most of the high schools in North Orange County, Anaheim, Fullerton, the Union District, Brea, all of Placentia, Yorba Linda, all of those high schools already have partnerships with our college to help transition our students to Fullerton College. You can wait to join the honors program until then. Technically, you could walk in the first day of class in fall of 2020 and join us. It's just that my answer is probably going to be all of our honors classes are full by the first day of school. So there's an advantage to applying early. By February is fine. We just want to make sure that you get all of the orientations, that you have group counseling. There are some additional requirements with the promise that you have to go through to try to get you to be a successful transfer story. And so the earlier you can do that, but that's up to your high school, that's up to kind of the college's program. My deadline, it will take any time. You decide you want to be an honor student, we can process that application that day. My staff will tell you, do it earlier. Don't make me work that hard the first week of school. So for them, sure, if you're thinking about it, if you're here, you're probably interested and engaged. And so this is our website, Honors.fullcoll.edu. I love how I'm IT guy and stuff. So I can't see it, that's all right. So yeah, just go here and that's all right. Sure, just go to joining honors right there. High school students, click there. I'm just gonna ask you some general information. I think we figured out where you could just take a picture or a screenshot of your transcripts. You're not done yet, that's fine. I just want to show some promise, and again, you can do that later. Other questions? Yeah.
Are the honors courses, so are they honors versions of existing courses?
Yes.
Like English 101,
Yes.
Honors English 101?
Absolutely, that is true. So I teach a regular course of Political Science 100 American Government, and then I also teach an honors version of that, Political Science Honors American Government. You can't take both of those classes, why would you? You need to pick one or the other. And then there's some things with AP, if you've got AP questions. AP is really not a question for us because it's a question for where you transfer. And so there's a couple things you need to talk to a counselor about. I'm not legally allowed to answer those questions. However, let me give you an example from the political science world, which is the world that I actually keep track of, AP. If you take AP Civics and take the test and get a 3, 4, or 5, and you want to be a political science major, you don't want to apply your AP test here because it depends where you're going to transfer to whether or not that institution for your degree will count the AP test, usually just in your major, right? Like UCLA is going to take your English AP units, no question. But if you're a political science major, UCLA is going to say, we don't want you to take civics in high school. We want you to take college graded course. And so if you apply your AP units here at Fullerton College, our computer is going to say, you can't take Political Science 100. You already took that AP test. And I'm going to say, well, you're going to have to take it over when you go to UCLA. You should really take it here, but the computer is going to block you. So that's why you want to, before you apply your AP units, if you go to Cal State Fullerton, they're going to take that AP credit. No problem. You don't have to take political science here as a political science major transferring to Cal State. So the AP question really depends on where you're headed after us. And so just keep those until you know where you're going to transfer. And then we can give you credit and it'll go on your transcript and they will do that. Oh, a lot of information about AP. We can answer that later. Other questions? Hey, Paul, can you get, oh yeah, that's an honors application. So there's just a whole bunch of words up there. And then can you get assist.org?
Yes.
Oh, look. Oh, you still can't see there. I was all excited and I'm not going to be excited because I can't see it on the screen.
There we go.
All right, so assist.org, assist, ASSIST.org, is a really great website for the CSUs and UCs to try to make transfer a lot easier. We also have ADTs. State Legislature of California realized, oh, transfer can be complicated. We've been telling them that for decades. So the CSUs said, yeah, we should have a degree that no matter what community college you go to, if you get a AA degree for transfer of political science, when you transfer to Cal State Fullerton, they are going to get you out in 2 years. Guaranteed. If you do the AA that's not a transfer degree, it may or may not match every single UC in the state. So ADT stands for Associate Degree in Transfer, and then you pick whatever your major is. If you do that, it's a seamless transfer. We are trying to get the UCs to take the same damn degree so that it's just simple in California. We're getting there. Some of them have done it. Merced's like, sure, absolutely, we'll do it. And UCLA says, we'd like to be different and difficult. We're working on them. We're trying. Most of the time that ADT is going to work to get out 2 years later. If you have any questions, you can use this website, assist.org. And what you do is you say, I'm going to transfer in 1920, pick Fullerton College. So every single school is in here. You pick Fullerton College. And where do you want to transfer to? UCLA. Let's do UCLA. There you go. Does it say major? Is that later? Transferable courses. Let's see if transferable courses, it used to just have a degree. Okay, let's just do view agreements. Oh, here's where it is. Let's pick anthropology. Let's be an anthropology major. So come down and you want an anthropology. I guess they have two. One's a Bachelor of Arts and one's a Bachelor of Science. Your choice, whatever you want to major. You can just play around with this and see what degree you want. And then you can view the agreement. So if you're here, you want to go there, it says, oh yeah, oh, that's awesome. So if you were starting there, you would have to take Anthro 1, Human Evolution. We have a class that's going to transfer, see that arrow? You're going to take Physical Anthropology or Honors Physical Anthropology. It's going to give you the list of what UCLA wants you to take, major prep courses. The major that you want, the preparation to transfer. So you can play around with that. You might say, oh, I want to be applied art major at Chico. And you go on and you learn, oh, Chico doesn't have that degree. So maybe if I really want to go to Chico, I have to find another major. If I really want to be applied art major, I have to pick a different school. That's a lot of what Assist will do. And then you know what the transfer agreement is. So you can do that for any school, anywhere you want to go. You can kind of play around and get that. So it's just a really great reference website to kind of know exactly what you need. We're going to help you with all those answers, but if you just want to play around with that, that's kind of fun. Other questions? Oh, Paul.
Yes.
Tell them how awesome we are. So why did you choose Fullerton College? You want to go to USC, right?
Yes. Well, both of my parents actually went to Fullerton College. My dad works here. And so it was just always kind of an option in the back of my mind. And
I promise not every student has parents who work here. I promise. I promise. So this is your first semester,
it is,
and you went to Servite. How do you like it?
this is an incredible experience. I've really enjoyed every moment that I've been here.
Come on in.
All of my professors have been fantastic, and I'm not taking all honors classes or anything like that, but I'm really enjoying that. The students are great, in my experience.
You got any questions for our students? Any other questions? We're open to answer anything. The food's better other places, I gotta tell you. We don't have the best dining hall with lots of choices. You're not gonna. We have a Jamba Juice. We've got a Jamba Juice. We've got Starbucks, but
Not yet.
You know,
Is it open?
It's not.
I don't think so.
oh,
They said
they
20.
closed it. It was open last year. It's like being renovated.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a question.
I'm not a coffee drinker. Yeah.
So you said it's not a workload thing for the honors, like how do you feel your other classes are compared to your honors, like difficulty wise? Is it like,
There's not really, I don't want to say the honors classes are easier, but maybe it's just the faculty. I actually enjoy the honors classes more than the other classes in some cases. The workload, it is a little bit more, it's a little bit heavier workload, but it's not to the point where it's a major inconvenience for me.
I definitely agree, but really the only difference that I see specifically in like my peers, I feel like every time, well, the first day of my honors sociology class, we had to read a couple of chapters before, and some of the students around me were like, "Oh, did you guys read the chapters before?" And I said, "Oh yes, I did." And they're like, "Oh yes." They were very encouraging and very motivated. And when we had chapters for math that I had to read before, they're like, "You read the chapters? Why?" That was a huge difference in the honors program. I felt like I was with people that were motivated, were at the same level of motivation, that we were just in the same mindset, and that was like the biggest difference. Yes, there is going to be more work, but it's not, it is difficult, but it's not overwhelmingly difficult.
Yeah, I think that's our goal. And I mean, I often talk to students and I say, like, the goal of the honors program is we make it just a little bit easier for you to find your people, right? Like 20,000 students, that's a lot of people on campus. We try to make it a liberal arts school that's smaller, and then you can go out and get all the great things from other places. We have a lot of students who go to four-year schools the first semester and then come to us. I've already talked to probably, 8 students who went straight to a four-year from high school and don't like it, and they're coming here next semester, and we happily welcome them, and sometimes they transfer right back to the school that they started at after kind of getting reoriented. Sometimes they go somewhere else. We used to have a whole bunch of people from NAU who didn't apparently like Flagstaff, and they would try again after the first semester. Flagstaff, NAU has really improved things. Probably 10 years ago, they had the highest number of non-return sophomores. They only had a 34% return rate, which then is kind of a snowball effect, because if you say, "Oh, I really like it here, I like my roommates and I like these people," and then nobody's coming back, you're like, "Oh, that was the only thing I liked about this school." So if my roommate's not coming back and my friends aren't coming back and my boyfriend's not coming back, I think I'm gonna go back home. And so they've really turned things around, and so now I think they're at a 68% return rate, and so we're getting fewer people from NAU, but they were a really big feeder for a while. UC Santa Barbara, we get people who just, don't find their people. There's a lot of partying there, which is great if that's what you like, and your people are there, you just might not have found them among the drunken parties. So that's part of it, right? It depends what your college experience is going to be about. And so I think one of the benefits of this program is that it's easier to find your people. And that's certainly what our special admit students, our K through 12 students who come here, I was talking about the 13-year-old. He'd been homeschooled. He was reading astrophysics books at 5 years old and certainly didn't fit into education. One of the counselors said, "Hey, I think this kid would be really great for the honors program." And I said, "Yeah, he would be really great because his SATs at 12 are higher than mine were at 18. He should come here." And he was in a class, he was in a math class, and he was giving a presentation on whether or not Harry Potter's invisibility cloak is actually possible. Cool. I don't know what all those numbers on the board were, but it was really cool. And he found his people, and for his 13th birthday, his fellow classmates said, "It's kind of weird because we're all 18 and we want to take this 13-year-old out for his birthday, but can you talk to his parents?" And I said, "Yeah, I can totally talk to his parents, because that's a little weird. If that was my kid, I would totally want to know before 18-year-old college girls took my 13-year-old boy out for his birthday." And they were like, yep, absolutely, and the parents are invited, and so it wasn't until 2 weeks later that his dad called and said that was his very first birthday party without family. Because he found his people. And those college students didn't take him out because of pity, they didn't take him out because they felt bad for him, they took him out because they found their people. And so really it's about that. And my older students, one of the reasons we accept these returning students is because like I have a mom and daughter who are in classes together, and the mom decided 2 years ago at this session to join and said, I want to go back to school. I dropped out to have her, and now I'm ready to go back to school. So they came to Fullerton College together, and I said, you've got to be in the honors program. She's like, I haven't been to school for 18 years. And I said, yeah, that's why you need to be in the honors program, because when you raise your hand, nobody's going to roll their eyes. Nobody's going to say, we were going to get out 5 minutes early, and now we're not because you wanted to ask a question. They're going to say, yeah, we wanted an answer to that too. And so my 70-year-old got to go to the 13-year-old's birthday party because everybody was just honor students. So that's part of the magic that I think happens here, is that you find your people. And so we've got alumni all over the actually country now, because we've got some people that went to study abroad and never came home. So we've got 2 alumni, actually, that's not true, they came home, but now they're going to school in Germany. And so we've got Giovanna Monreal is living in Germany and working for a company there. Jameson Hobein discovered that after he graduated from Berkeley, he'd go to grad school for free in Germany, and so went over and had lunch with his old friend from Fullerton College, Giovanna, and she sold him on the whole damn country, and now he's living there. So there's a lot of really great experiences that happen like that here. Not that you can't get that at another school, not that you can't get that at the 4-year school, but we try to give you that opportunity to get it here. So come here. Other questions?
Can I just make a comment?
Yeah, Naveen.
So I'm in a unique situation. I'm a member of the faculty here. I'm a women's golf coach. But I love going to school. And I take classes. I look for honors classes. And when I returned back to school, I have a big love of Shakespeare. There aren't too many golfers who love Shakespeare. But those are 2 of my great loves. And so I looked for a Shakespeare class. And we had it. We were offering 234 Miguel Powers.
Yeah.
And I got there, and there were about 14 students, and I think there was a cutoff at around 15 or 16. And a couple of students, I heard them, well, we're not sure if we're going to stay, because they were looking about their whole program. And they thought the program would be canceled. And I looked at them and I said, you can't stop this class. Yeah. You cannot, because I'm coming just for this. So I told those 2 students, I said, if you stay in the class, I'll give you a scholarship, whatever you want. It didn't matter to me because I wanted to learn.
I'm going to pretend like I didn't hear that.
Right. I'm going to offer you to earn a scholarship. So I was just so excited. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes,
We're
follow
live.
the
Yeah,
rules.
I was just going to say Facebook.
Right. So offered a scholarship through all the proper methods. Golf coach, we have to follow everything correctly. So, but the excitement that happened was in there, the magic. I think you asked about what happens in the class. Everyone's committed. And it went from students in the class being a little bit quiet to, by week 3, they were bringing in so much information that it became this symposium that could not have occurred with 50 people in there. Could not have occurred because Miguel Powers is a gifted Shakespeare scholar, but he couldn't bring that all to the table on day 1. But when we started bringing it to the table, he could bring more, and it just became this place where people would come to class early, they would stay late, we would read Shakespeare outside, and it happened organically. Yeah. And so I just continued to look for honors classes, and I asked Dr. Balma, I said, can we get more? She said, any class can be, any class can be honors. And now I notice with study abroad. So it allows you to raise your level because your classmates raise your level. So I'm looking forward for my next honors class. I haven't told you that I want to ask you if my instructional class can be honors golf, because
why not?
Why not? So I love that.
You'd
love that, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's often, and we could get some business students over there
Absolutely.
for golf for
Yeah,
networking,
there we go. We
right?
could do the
Absolutely.
business golf class.
I think it's a great idea. So it grows, and it grows, and it takes students that just want to do more. And it really sky's the limit. You'll love it because you can bring anything, and then the research that goes on. And it prepared me for my graduate work, because when I went to graduate work, I had skills that I would not have had in a regular class because it was just about absorbing information. This is where you brought it. So
And
I'm super
you just
excited.
reminded me of something that I often tell students, and it's counterintuitive, but I actually encourage you to take honor students in classes that you're not good at. So if math scares you, go take an honors math class, because you're going to be in a class of 20, and some of those people are going to be math majors who will help you. And if there's only 20, the faculty member, that professor, is going to know your name by the first night. And the assumption is that you're a good student. And so if you're faltering in a class, you've got a whole cohort of students who want to help you succeed. You have tutoring opportunities within the class. You're going to have a relationship with that faculty member. And so I know it sounds scary to be like, take an honors class of the subject you're terrible at. But really, when I have a class of 90 students in my American government class, what I'm doing is leading a symposium of people playing, I don't even know if it's the same instrument in the family, because it's people who don't buy the book, and it's people who only come occasionally, and it's people who are totally dedicated honor students who are in that class. And I'm trying to kind of lead an orchestra of saying, okay, you need to come to class more, and you should really buy the book. And yes, I want to talk about Shays Rebellion in depth, but I got to make sure everybody's doing this. And I'm juggling all these balls. And my honor students, I have the assumption everybody did the reading.
Oh, and they do more.
Yeah, and they do more. And so I can start off starting at that assumption. Everybody knows what they were supposed to do, and if they didn't, they're going to catch up. If, they didn't do the reading, I'm not going to give a quiz every single week, but well, in your class I do give a quiz every single week.
Nobody lets you falter. Like all your
Yeah.
students are there together. When we did that Shakespeare class, and the other thing, which is a secret, is that people still stay in touch.
Yeah.
We're still in communication with one another.
Yeah.
Not everyone all the time, but that is a bond that doesn't always happen in regular classes. But you can be sure, if you miss classes, oh, did you miss? Do you need the work? And
Yeah.
people don't miss after that.
Yeah.
You want to come to class, and that's an exciting feeling. And I love that. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to, I have 10 units of honors. I'm looking forward to getting honors certified. I'm looking for the next 2 classes, so maybe you'll be in my class.
And you want to do a pitch for women's golf?
I would
No,
love to.
yeah.
Anyone
We
here?
got scholarships.
Yeah, anyone go to Troy here? Anyone from Troy? Troy, yeah.
Talk to your golfing friends.
So I'm telling you, Troy is doing really, I don't know how they did today, but they're in the Southern California Championship. I'll check tonight how they did. They'll go to the state next week. But if you are a golfer, man or woman, or identify as anything, we've got space for you at this college. We've got space for you in our classes. We've got space for you on the team and the intercollegiate team. We're working very hard to have both the men's and women's team. So we're excited to bring that. And from here, the amount of competition you get, the one thing that the parents will love is that our tournaments, only the state championship do we go away for the weekend. Everything else, we start in the morning, we're back every night. And we play more tournaments than they do at the 4-year level because they have 3 or 4 three-day tournaments, whereas we'll play 12 over the course of the season. So we'd love to have every student, and this goes for parents, grandparents, children in my instructional golf class, and those who want to play every day can come to the intercollegiate class.
Yeah. And there's a lot of, by the way, just to pitch for athletics, save your gym membership and come here. Take a walking class, take a yoga class, they've got a lot of really great lifelong learning athletics class. I don't know that you want to walk onto the football team, but you can try out for sports. It's actually funny, one of our, I think you're in a class with Brendan, and Brendan Grip, and he said, I wanted to play baseball, and I went to the coach, and the coach said, yeah, we got all the spots, we recruited people, and he said, I'm going to show up, I'm better than them. And I think he's now on the baseball team, which isn't a thing that's supposed to happen, but he's going to make it happen. So persistence is really important, and, kind of let us know what you want to accomplish here, and we're going to help you.
It opens doors that you don't even know are there, so it's exciting. I'm glad to be part of it. And
Yeah.
I want to come by. I never came to a symposium. I just wanted that class.
Oh, I love that.
I
You're
love
just
it.
stopping by.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for sharing your experience.
You have
My
individual questions come up after. We've got a sign-up sheet. Is it in the back?
Yeah.
Just check off if you already registered. If not, there's another place where you can fill out the information just so we can get your contact information. Go to our website. Like us on social media. I don't know how that works. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Hi.